morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Lopez, Communications Coordinator here with United Ag. Thank you so much for joining our health chats this morning. With November being Diabetes Awareness Month, we asked Dr. Rosemary Ku to help us shine a light on diabetes. But before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Cyan, Blue Shield of California, and Elite Medical. Now, without further ado, here's Dr. Rosemary to enlighten us about diabetes.
Thanks so much, Jessica, and welcome everyone this morning to talk about diabetes. We've done several diabetes health chats over the years, but today I really want to focus on what I call diabetes hacks, which are really easy to implement tips for helping to control blood sugar. All these tips take very little time. They're super easy and can be built into your everyday life. And even if you don't have diabetes, you can implement these in your life just to even improve overall health as well. And the categories that I'll be going over are nutrition, physical activity, sleep, stress management, and mindset. And we'll leave plenty of time for Q&A at the end, which you can either you can put into the chat or we can unmute people at the end. So first off, with diabetes hacks around nutrition, nutrition is often feels very daunting for people with diabetes because it feels like, oh, there's so many things that you can't eat. And how do you count carbs? Do you have to count calories too? It can all feel very complicated. But one of the easiest ways to improve your blood sugar if you have diabetes is actually intermittent fasting. And there are a lot of different ways to do intermittent fasting, but essentially what this method is to limit your eating window within a certain number of hours per day. And so what a lot of people actually do is 16-hour fasting window with an 8-hour eating window. And what that could mean is eating between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And that prolonged fasting time overnight actually helps reduce your blood sugars and also improves your body's ability to process sugar itself. And it's super easy. That means so you don't necessarily have to be super controlling about what you eat, but just to eat within a certain time window. And you don't have to do a very drastic change right away. You could even implement something as easy as reducing your dinner time by an hour each night and see how you feel. One caveat to this is that if you are on medication to reduce your blood sugars, you will want to ask your doctor about anything that you're going to be doing that's new around nutrition or physical activity, because this could reduce your blood sugars. If you are on medication, that could actually have a higher risk of giving you hypoglycemia. So you might become symptomatic if your blood sugars get too low. So definitely talk to your doctor about anything you're going to be doing with nutrition or physical activity, but intermittent fasting is a really easy way to get started. The next tip here is to prioritize the carbs that you love and not mindlessly eat carbs. So for instance, say you want to have a burrito. Within a burrito, the carbs are from the rice, the tortilla, the beans, and also a little bit from the veggies actually. But ask yourself, do you really want the tortilla? Like, do you actually really love the tortilla part of the burrito? If not, go for a burrito bowl instead, and you've saved yourself a ton of carbs that are kind of mindless that you don't really like or enjoy. If it's the rice that you're like, I can go without rice in the burrito, then go without that. So make sure you can still have carbs in your life, but just really prioritize the ones that you look forward to and get rid of the mindless carbs. And you might find that a lot of the carbs that you're eating are actually ones that you don't even notice or don't even enjoy that much. The next tip here is to find really easy carb swaps. And right now on the market, there's so many different low carb options out there for you. Like for instance, if you really can't decrease rice in your diet, you really love rice, that's a big part of what you like to eat. Cauliflower rice is a very easy swap. It's actually easier to prepare in a lot of ways. And if you get used to it, it's not all that different from regular rice. And even at Trader Joe's right now, there are jicama wraps that can be used as substitutions for corn tortillas or flour tortillas. And so if you look through your grocery aisle, just check to see if there are things that are lower carb or healthier options that are really easier to to fit into your lifestyle, depending on your dietary preferences. And lastly, regarding nutrition, is to avoid eating carbs by themselves. So say in the morning, you're used to having toast. Now, bread is all carbs. But if you eat carbs all by themselves, it can cause a spike in your blood sugar and cause you to crash later on. And as someone with diabetes, you really do not want those big swings in your blood sugar. And so you still want to keep that toast in, but have some protein or fat along with it to slow down the digestion of those carbs. So say either even adding some peanut butter to your toast, or perhaps some egg or some turkey along with that to get some protein. So just don't have carbs by themselves. If you're going to eat carbs, make sure that they're the ones you love, and then actually add some protein and fat along with it. Next, onto physical activity. So a lot of us don't have hours and hours of the day to, be working out or go to the gym. And sometimes even getting to the gym or getting outside can be really challenging. So here are some really quick ideas to reduce your blood sugar. This first one is super simple. It's just walking after meals. There's been a lot of data that shows that even just walking 10, 15 minutes after each meal can actually reduce your overall blood glucose levels. And it's as short as 10 to 15 minutes. If you can find that time, it's a wonderful and easy way to actually relax as well after your meals. And if you can't get outside for walking, say maybe perhaps the weather is not permitting, you could even jump on a bike for a little while or do some squats, jumping jacks, or anything. The idea is to use up the glucose from your meal right away, essentially. So you're using your muscles to use up that energy right away so you don't get as big of a blood glucose spike. The next hack here is interval training. So interval training might sound intense. It might sound like it's a very specialized program, but you could even do this with just walking. And essentially what you want to do is do a short spurt of activity with higher intensity, just for like 2 to 3 minutes, and then take maybe about a minute of rest. So it's these little intervals where you're increasing your physical demand, you're increasing your heart rate, and then you're resting for a little bit. And you only have to do like 2 to 3 cycles of this. And that can actually make a huge improvement to your blood glucose levels and your body's ability to use that energy. It's incredibly time efficient. 2 to 3 cycles really only takes maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And lastly, is if you do have diabetes, strength training is one of the best things you can do to help your body use that glucose. So with diabetes, your body isn't using the glucose as well because your body doesn't listen to insulin, or maybe it's not producing enough insulin. But if you do strength training, you're actually allowing your muscles to soak up that blood sugar better and utilize that energy. And overall, that'll actually help you control your diabetes. Now on to sleep. One of the most important things around sleep and diabetes is actually getting tested for sleep apnea. So the risks for sleep apnea are if you snore, if on a regular basis, or are constantly feeling tired during the day, even though you've slept 7 to 9 hours. If you have any of those symptoms, you might be at risk for sleep apnea. And if you're not actually sure you have any of those, like for instance, if you're not sure if you snore or not, it's important to ask your doctor about getting tested for sleep apnea, because 1 out of 3 people are actually at risk for sleep apnea, but most don't know they have it. And with sleep apnea, because your breathing is stopping multiple times a night, that puts a huge stress on your body. And that stress can actually make your blood sugars worse over time. And so if you do have sleep apnea and it goes untreated, your diabetes is going to be very difficult to control. And if you do have sleep apnea, and once you get treated, you might notice that not only do you feel much better during the day because you're more well rested, But because your body is less stressed at night, your blood sugars will actually naturally come down as well. And one of the best tips around sleep hygiene is to actually keep a consistent sleep schedule. So if you find that you're having trouble to fall asleep at night, you might need to actually go to sleep on a more consistent schedule, which means on the weekends to not sleep in, to not stay up late on Friday night, and to really go to bed around the same hour, go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time within an hour. And this basically helps prepare your body to fall asleep and to get up. And once your body is kind of on that routine, you'll actually fall asleep easier and get better quality sleep as well. So that is one of the best tips around sleep hygiene, is to keep a consistent sleep schedule regardless of the day of the week. And then lastly, on sleep, is to lower your bedroom temperature. So the ideal temperature for your bedroom is probably lower than you think. It's actually closer to 65 degrees for most people. And for some people, it actually might even be closer to 60 degrees, depending on your own personal preferences. But the reason why a lower bedroom temperature helps get you to sleep is because your body's temperature actually naturally decreases as you're falling asleep. And if your room temperature is too high, it can't do that as efficiently. Your body can't lower its blood temperature as well. And so if your bedroom temperature is low, it actually helps the process and helps you fall asleep. So check your bedroom temperature at night. If it's higher than 65 and you're having trouble sleeping, try lowering it a few degrees to see if that helps. Now onto stress management. So the stress is a big deal for diabetes management that often isn't talked about. But managing stress levels can actually make a big impact on reducing your blood sugars. And one of the best hacks for reducing your stress is actually to just stay social, is to keep up your social connections with your friends and family and lean on them when you need support. Trying to manage stress by yourself, whether that's work stress, life stress, or anything else, trying to do it alone just makes it harder. And so lean on your social network here. In addition, reducing caffeine might make your ability to handle stress better. So caffeine actually takes at least 15 hours to really clear from your system. And so not only does caffeine make it harder for you to fall asleep, but it can actually increase anxiety and increase your emotional reactivity. So your stress response might actually be higher because you have caffeine in your system versus if you didn't. So try to limit your caffeine to the early morning, or even get rid of it completely and see how you feel. And then lastly is take time to laugh. Laughing is actually a great way to reduce stress, increase endorphins. It's also a great way to keep social for in reference to the first point here. And it's just like a good break to have during your day. And it's something easy to do. Just like remembering a joke with your friends, or, having a moment to kind of joke around with your colleagues could actually reduce your stress overall during the day. And that'll actually help with your blood sugar levels. And now onto mindset. So most people don't realize that diabetes management and really chronic condition management, it has a lot to do with how you think. And there are a lot of sabotaging thoughts that can come up that you might not even be aware of, that makes it harder for you to live a healthy lifestyle with diabetes. For instance, say you're going out to eat with your friends and you're going to some place for burgers. You might actually have the sabotaging thought of, oh, I know I should be ordering my burger without the bun, but I feel self-conscious about doing it in front of my friends, and I don't want my friends to think I'm fussy. So this could all be happening subconsciously, and it could lead you to making a worse dietary decision when you're eating out. But if you can catch those sabotaging thoughts and reframe them, you can actually help yourself make a better decision. So going back to kind of the burger example, if you find yourself telling yourself, I don't want to look fussy in front of my friends, I'm just going to order the regular burger. I'm not even going to bother asking for a lettuce bun. What you could tell yourself instead is, hey, my friends actually want me to be healthy. And in order for me to be healthy, I need to skip the bun and I can have it with lettuce instead. And it's just as good. And so catching those kind of sabotaging thoughts and reframing them can help you make better decisions. Another example is like, say you've had a stressful day at work and you tell yourself, I've had a really hard day. I deserve a treat, so I'm going to have ice cream when I get home. How often have we kind of said this to ourselves that we deserve a treat? But that's actually a sabotaging thought. And so what you can do when you kind of catch yourself saying that is you could say, well, what I really deserve is actually to be healthier. And there are other things I enjoy aside from ice cream. Maybe I want to watch an episode of a show, or I want to go to the park, or I'm going to spend some time doing something that I enjoy, like reading. All those are really nice treats that don't involve eating something that's going to have a big impact on your health. So the next mindset hack that I want to talk to you guys about is setting goals with your doctor. So a lot of people who are on medication for diabetes, you might have the opportunity actually to decrease your medications, but your doctor might not necessarily mention that to you. So if this is something you want to do, to be able to decrease your medication or potentially even get off medication entirely, talk to your doctor about it, set your goals. Or even if you don't want to really change your medications, but you want to make sure your A1C is getting under control, set a goal with your doctor. Say, hey, my A1C right now is 7.5. I want my next test to be 7.2 or lower. You can set those goals and your doctor can help provide personalized advice for how you can reach those goals. But if you just kind of assume that, hey, I have diabetes, it's not going to change. Everyone in my family has diabetes. I'm just going to accept it. It doesn't have to be that way. You can actually create goals with your diabetes management, and with this right support, you can actually meet those goals. And then lastly here is to really focus on today. As we're trying to improve our health and we're working towards those goals, there are going to be slip-ups. There are going to be relapses. You might fall into old lifestyle habits. But that's okay. And that's going to happen. The most important thing is, what do you do afterwards? And each day is really a new day. So it doesn't really matter if you ate poorly yesterday or didn't exercise yesterday. What are you going to do today to focus on your health? And each day, each meal really does count. And you don't have to be perfect. It's not black or white. You just have to try to do your best in making sure that, trying to set yourself up for success in the present moment can actually help you make progress over time. So in order to help you reach kind of your goals with diabetes care or even overall health, we have a few resources here at United Ag that can make a big difference for you. The first is Livongo. This is actually part of the Teladoc program. And Livongo is specifically geared towards people with diabetes, where you get a free glucometer, you get free supplies, and you also get the Livongo app that you can use to track your blood sugar levels. Within the app, you can also access coaching or chat with one of the diabetes health educators if you have any questions. And if you need to reorder supplies, you can actually do it very easily through the app or even through the glucose meter itself. So if you do have diabetes or anyone in your family has diabetes that's a United Ag member, make sure they sign up for Livongo, and you can just call member services to get into the program. Second is that we've started an initiative called Diabetes Health Forums, where unlike this, it's not a formal presentation. It's really meant to create discussion and form a community around people with diabetes. So only people who have diabetes themselves or are taking care of someone with diabetes are invited to these health forums. And they're meant for people to share tips, like the tips that I just talked about today. They're meant to kind of share their stories and struggles, and it's a really nice way to connect with others informally who know what it's like to live with a condition. And then lastly, our health and wellness clinics have a free lifestyle management program that can help with diabetes or any other chronic conditions you have. It's at no additional cost. And you get your own personal health coach that follows you throughout your whole journey. They are really fantastic. We have both English speaking and Spanish speaking staff here. And even if you don't have diabetes or any other chronic conditions, say you just want to live a healthier lifestyle, everyone is eligible for this program. So you can either go to the website here to learn more. You can also call our member services or the health and wellness clinics themselves to get plugged into the program. And with that, we will open up the floor to questions. You can either chat them in or it looks like we might not. Oh yeah, we can unmute you as well. So either you can chat in your questions or ask us to unmute you.
While the questions are coming in, I do have a quick announcement just to let everybody know that we have upcoming health forums coming up this month. In English, we have a session for November 27th, and in Spanish, 12 p.m. and in Spanish, November 30th at 6 p.m. And this is a great time to go over more detail or have a discussion with Dr. Rosemary about diabetes. And to register, you would go to unitedag.org/health forums.
Thanks, Jessica, for providing those dates and that information. I forgot to mention, so each of our health forums has a specific topic, and the topic for the upcoming health forum is actually going to be around knowing your numbers and how to check your blood glucose. I will actually be doing a live demo of the Livongo system, so you can see all the ins and outs of how to use it to check your blood glucose. And then we'll talk about target ranges and how to stay within your target ranges. Oh, wonderful. We got a comment in the Q&A on Livongo, and she says it really is a great provider for supplies. Yes, I can't agree more. It is just within a few clicks, you can get your supplies, and they send it out. You'll get it within a few days. Wonderful comment. Thank you. All right, if there are no other questions or comments, we can close for today, but this health chats will be available. And if any questions come up later on, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. Any closing comments, Jessica?
No, that is all. Thank you so much, Dr. Rosemary.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.